My dear mother-in-law, just to reassure you that we are back safely. We've dried out and the boat is now empty of water. Last night it was a very different picture, and to be honest, I thought we'd never make it back home again. Yesterday evening we were out on the boat and Jesus was with us. A sudden storm blew up. It was once explained to me that as the Sea of Galilee is in a basin surrounded by mountains, it is particularly susceptible to sudden violent storms. Cool air from the Mediterranean is drawn down through the narrow mountain passes and clashes with the hot, humid air lying over the lake, which is 600 feet below sea level. This causes the violent winds that churn up the water. At least that is what I was told, not that I really understand it. What I do know was last night was an extremely ferocious storm, and even I was terrified. The wind was tossing us about, the sea was raging, and the boat was beginning to fill with water. There was only one outcome that I and the other disciples were sure of. The boat was going to sink and we were going to drown. And to cap it all, Jesus was fast asleep. I went and shook Jesus, calling out to him above the noise of the wind, "Teacher, don't you care that we're about to die?" If nothing else, he could at least help us to bail the boat. Jesus stood up. He ordered the wind to stop and the waves to be still, and suddenly everything was silent. He looked at us and said, "Why are you frightened? Do you still have no faith?" And the others were suddenly even more afraid. The fear of what would happen to us had been changed into a fear of who Jesus is. I know he was a great teacher, preacher and healer of the sick, and I was happy to call him master, but someone who can control the wind and waves with only a word, such power over the natural world, what does it mean? While we were rowing the boat home and some of the lads were bailing out the water, I thought it over. What did Jesus mean when he said about us having no faith? We'd seen Jesus do miracles, transform situations. If we'd trusted him, we wouldn't have panicked when the storm came, nor been so shocked and afraid when he showed his power. Jesus knew that it is fear rather than faith that had control of us last night. I wonder, could I have allowed the storm to keep raging, knowing that with Jesus close by, I had no need to be afraid? I'm not sure. Do I really trust Jesus enough to allow my faith in him to override my fears? Only time will tell. Anyway, must go. Jesus wants us to head over to the other side of the lake. What we will find in the Gentile region of Gezra, I'm not sure, but I need to trust him. Lots of love, Peter.